In this video, we're going to be talking about how to increase the number and quality of the high-ticket leads and sales calls coming into your business by increasing what's known as the unique link click-through rate. Now, if you don't know who I am or what the unique link click-through rate is, stick with me for a moment because this one metric is probably the most important and most impactful metric if you're looking to put just a little bit of work in and getting a massive return on your time. My name is Ravi Abuvala. I'm the founder of Scaling with Systems, where we build marketing systems for coaching, consulting, advertising, and online service-based businesses. And in the past few years, I have generated well over 16,000 sales calls using a lot of the same systems that I give away for free on my YouTube channel. And one of the main ways that we get sales calls is through paid advertising. And I'm sure you're thinking, hey, I want to do cold email. I don't have money for paid advertising, whatever kind of excuse that's popping in your head right now. And I just ask you to wait until the end of this video before you decide whether or not you want to run paid advertising or whether or not you should be focusing on increasing your unique click-through rate. Because in my experience here, most people would love to run paid advertising. They just don't know how to run it and they don't know what specifically to focus on. And I've actually boiled down the entire process to one metric, the unique link click-through rate, which I'm going to talk about here in one moment. And that one metric determines the success of your entire marketing campaign. And I'm going to show you how you can increase that number by following 8 simple steps, which I'll discuss in this video here. Now, this is part 2 of the video series that I'm creating on the exact marketing system that has generated us over 16,000 sales calls. So make sure if you haven't seen part 1, you can check it out after you're done watching this video. But let me show you what I covered in just a few seconds in part 1. So this is at a 30,000 foot view what the marketing system is. So we have ads on the left-hand side. Then we send ads to an opt-in page. From the opt-in page, we send them to a video sales letter. From the video sales letter, we send them through an application and a booking page. After they book the call, we actually get them to show up on the call. And then finally, on the call itself, they turn into a customer or a client. Now, in that previous video, I talked about why I believe that this is the best system, and we've installed it for over 1,000 coaching, consulting, advertising, and online service-based businesses. So I'm not going to get too in-depth on that today. Today, we're just going to focus on this one little part of this marketing system, which is going from the ad to the opt-in page. And you'll see on here that the metric that we're looking at this is called the unique outbound link click-through rates. So that's a lot of words, and what does that mean? The unique outbound link click-through rate essentially means that of the people that have seen your ad, how many people actually clicked on the link that takes people from the advertising platform to your funnel or your website. Now, why is that the most important metric in ads and it's not something like, cost per lead or cost per call? Well, because really the cost per lead and cost per call is a function of so many other different things. What does your opt-in page look like? What's the messaging on your squeeze page? What does your video sales letter look like? What does your sales page letter look like? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, where the unique outbound link click-through rate is solely the KPI for an advertising platform. And that's the whole purpose of an advertising platform. It's not to make you a bunch of money, although that is what we want it to do for us. It's to get people from this place that I'm paying to get eyeballs for over to this place over here that I own. So I'm paying to get eyeballs on Facebook ads because there's a lot of people that I want to show ads to on Facebook, and I'm paying them to come over to my website. And so we're measuring that jump of how many people that see this ad actually come over to our website through the KPI known as unique outbound link click-through rate, okay? And our goal here is to get somewhere between 1% to 3%. That means that if 100 people see our ad, 1%, 1 to 3 people that are watching that ad are actually clicking to go to our website. And when you get too low of a click-through rate, then your advertising gets out of whack. Your unit economics gets out of whack. Because if it costs you, let's say, for example, $20 to get somebody to go to your website, well, then it's going to be very difficult for you to be profitable down the funnel. It costs you $20 to get someone to go to your website. Then 1 out of every 5 people actually become a lead. That's $100 cost per lead. Then 1 out of every 10 people become a call. That's $1,000 cost per call. Then 1 out of every 2 people actually show up to the call. That's a $2,000 cost per call taken. And 1 out of every 4 people actually become a client. And so that's an $8,000 cost per acquisition, right? And that's how easy that can extrapolate just by getting this one metric wrong, which is why in the beginning when I said this is arguably one of the most important metrics, I wasn't lying about it. After spending over $3.5 million of my own money on advertising, I have identified 8 specific ways that you can use to increase your unique outbound link click-through rate, whether you're an ad genius or you've never set up ads before. And I'm gonna walk through them in this video here, starting with what I think is the most impactful one to look at. So this one has the biggest impact on your unique outbound link click-through rate, all the way down the line to the least impactful. And to really drive this point home and to prove to you that I practice what I preach, unlike some other people I see on YouTube, I'm actually going to use my ad that I'm currently running for our company, Scaling with Systems, as an example of the 8 different things you can change to increase your unique outbound link click-through rate. So let's get started. The first and most impactful thing you can do to increase your unique outbound link click-through rate is changing your ad creative. So your ad creative is the images, videos, or series of images and videos that you're using in your ad to capture people's attention. And in the example here of our ad, you can see that this one specifically is a video. I get a lot of questions all the time of what's better, a video or an image, and in reality, you need to test it. For some audiences, it's images. For other audiences, it's videos. In this example here, I'm using a video. Now, why is this the most impactful thing for trying to increase your unique link click-through rate? It's because it is the largest thing when someone is scrolling through their advertising platform, such as Facebook, or they're watching videos on YouTube. That's the thing that takes up the majority of the space. So you can see it's called real estate. If I were to scroll down on my feed, the first thing my eyes always go to is whatever is the biggest thing there, which will always be the image or it will always be the video. So by focusing on testing new images or new videos first, you're likely going to have the highest chance of increasing your unique link click-through rate. And the way that we break down ad videos is in 3 parts. There's the hook, there's the body, and there's the call to action. The hook is exactly that. It's the first few seconds of the video where you're calling out your avatar and you are trying to say something that's going to capture their attention by poking a pain point or painting some kind of desired situation for them. And then you're going to transition into the body, which is where you're educating a little bit more, adding a little bit of curiosity as well. And then finally, you're going to the call to action, where you're saying, hey, click the link in the description down below or click the button down below, and you'll be able to learn more about whatever I'm talking about here, or you'll be able to book a call to speak with us. A few tips when it comes to video creative specifically. First and foremost, understand that the job of an ad is not necessarily to sell your product or service. The job of your ad is to get somebody to click to the website. So if you give away everything, if you blow your load, if you will, on the actual ad itself, then there's no real reason for somebody to go to the next page and learn more. That being said, you also don't want to keep everything in this mysterious thing in the ad creative where you don't say what you're actually talking about and there's no kind of qualification or call out, because then you're getting a bunch of unqualified people to your website or your sales funnel. So it's somewhere in the middle. And the way that I like to do it personally is by using what I like to call trademark mechanisms. An example of a trademark mechanism inside of our business is what I call the client conveyor. And the client conveyor is an optimized and productized service roadmap that takes brand new clients and takes them through your entire service delivery, all virtually on autopilot, which means that you as the founder have either automated, eliminated, or delegated yourself out of that process. And it's in essence a conveyor belt. Someone comes in, they pay you money, they go through that system that you're not involved in, and then they come out as happy, raving fans on the other side that are buying more stuff from you and sending you referrals. So I made up that name, client conveyor. I'm a big fan of alliteration. And so in my ads, I can say, have you ever heard of the client conveyor before? And no one's ever heard of it because I made it up myself. Sure, there may be other people that use similar processes or something like that, but ours is our own unique selling proposition. That's why they call it a USP, and ours is packaged in our specific way. So I am talking a little bit about what that is in an ad, for example, but I'm not going to give away the whole kit and caboodle in the ad. Instead, I say if you want to learn more, you can click the link down below and check out this training where I walk through that entire process. My second tip when it comes to creating good ad creatives is doing what I like to call hiding in plain sight. And what that means is that nobody really wants to see an ad. No one wakes up in the morning and goes on their newsfeed and goes, oh man, I can't wait to see the ad that I'm going to see today. Except for me, maybe. I actually really love ads. But most people don't like that. And so what you want to do for your ad creatives is you want to make your ad not seem like an ad. Now, obviously, at some point, they're going to realize it is, in fact, an ad. But the whole point is that the first few seconds or the first few impressions that they get from your ad should lend them to believe that this is a post from their friends or a family member or an influencer that they look up to. It's only by the time they realize they're halfway through your ad that they realize it's an actual ad to sell a product or a service. And the way that you do that is you're not using like crazy high polished videos, or you're not like making your ad copy something that looks like it came out of corporate America. You're speaking to them like they're regular human beings, like somebody else would post on their newsfeed. Just by testing the ad creative alone, you could literally come up with hundreds or thousands or an infinite number of different variations of the hook, the body, and the call to action that would really and seriously increase unique link click-through rates. And this is why I tell people to spend the majority of their time changing the ad creative, because this can have a huge impact on the rest of your advertising campaign. That being said, there is one part to the ad creative that is more important than the rest, which is why I'm actually making it step 2 of ways to increase your unique outbound click-through rate, and that is the ad creative hook. So this is specifically for videos, but in the first 3 to 30 seconds of a video, your prospect is deciding whether they want to stay and watch the rest of the video or read the rest of your ad. And the real harsh truth of it is that the majority of people stop watching your video after the first few seconds. So when I tell everybody that they should be testing new ad creatives, most people don't do it because it requires so much work to shoot a new ad end to end every single time. But if everyone's only watching the first 3 to 5 seconds, then all you have to do is create 10 to 20 hooks, or the first 3 to 5 seconds, and you in reality have 10 to 20 different ads. And this is actually illustrated if you're running ads on the Facebook advertising platform. Facebook has a metric that you can look at in the columns called the average video play time. And this means that of the people that see your video, how long on average are they watching the video? And for this ad right here, actually for all of the ads that I currently have running right now, my average video play time is 4 seconds. 4 seconds. And these are 3 to 5 minute videos. So imagine when I was creating new ad creatives, if I had to create new 3 to 5 minute videos every single week, that would be exhausting for both me, my marketing team, and my editors. But if I know that the average person is watching 3 to 5 seconds of it, I can just create 50 or 100 hooks and just slap it on the beginning of this ad creative here and have essentially what is a brand new ad. And for those advanced advertisers out there, this is also another cool way to combat advertising frequency or advertising fatigue, which is in essence how many times someone's seeing the same ad over and over again. That decreases your unique link click-through rate and increases your cost across the board. But if you're able to just change out those first few seconds, then it's in essence like them seeing a new ad every single time, keeping your costs low and your unique link click-through rate high. Now let's talk about the third way to get more and higher quality, high ticket leads and sales calls for your business. And that's going to be through the primary text hook. So just like I talked about a moment ago, the main part that somebody watches in an ad creative is the first few seconds. But after someone's done watching the first few seconds, most of their time, their eyes will go to what is known as the primary text hook. And that's this part at the top of the ad, right above the continue reading button. And just like I talked about a moment ago, when you're testing new primary text, which is essentially your ad copy, you don't have to test a brand new full end-to-end text every single time. You really just need to test the first few lines of text. In this example here, it's the first 4 lines of text. And by just adjusting that, I can make hundreds, if not thousands of more variations with less work than I would if I was trying to test the entire end-to-end primary text. And so what we'll do is I have the same body, just like I do in an ad creative. I have the same body and call to action underneath this continue reading button here, but I change out the ad primary text hook quite frequently. So this one that I have right here calls out my ideal avatar, which is coaches and agencies. I say, copy the marketing system behind our $15 million plus business. And then I go through a little bit of like a curiosity driven once upon a time hook. It's called an indirect lead. Well, this is really great, but I have another ad running where instead I say, coaches and agencies, learn how we generated over 16,000 sales calls in our high ticket business. The process is simple. Step 1, and then it starts going through the steps. So that one's a little bit more of a direct lead where I'm going straight to what I'm trying to offer them. And I'm trying to see which one leads to a higher unique outbound link click-through rates. Okay, so just by changing out those two things, I have one ad currently that's at a 1.7 unique outbound link click-through rate. And I have another ad this morning that was at a 0.32 unique outbound link click-through rate. And the only difference was the primary text hook. So this is another great example of just some small work you can put in play without having to change everything and just increase that unique outbound link click-through rate without having to increase the amount of work really that you're doing. The fourth most impactful way to increase your unique outbound link click-through rate is through what is known as the headline. And that is the next easy but high impact way for you to get more leads and calls inside your business. And for this ad here, it's copy our 15 million plus marketing system. That is typically the third thing people read in order when they land on an ad. First is the ad creative. The second thing is going to be that primary text hook. And the third is going to be that headline. So this example here says copy our 15 million plus marketing system, but I have 7 different variations of this. Another one says once upon a time in a land far, far away. Another one says learn how we generated 16,000 sales calls. And so these are all 5 to 7 word headlines that I'm using in order to get someone's attention to read the next line. So if they're going to read that, they're going to think, okay, the ad creative makes sense to me. The primary text has caught my attention, and that headline, that's something that I want. I'm willing to go deeper into this ad to learn more. And actually, a lot of times what people will do is they will actually click from the ad to your website just from those 3 steps alone. And that's why I like to spend a lot of my time on those 3 areas primarily, because they could literally just watch the first 5 seconds of the ad, read the first 3 lines of the primary text, and see the headline and know that this is what they want to learn more about. And they could click learn more right then and there and go straight to your website. And that's great. That's totally fine. That's going to increase your unique outbound link click-through rate, increase number of leads, and increase number of sales that you get inside of your business. The 5th way to increase your click-through rate is going to be through the primary text. So I don't have this on this image here, but if you were to click the continue reading button, it's the rest of the body of that text that I was talking about earlier. So we have the primary text intro, which is those first few lines there that kind of captures their attention and pre-qualifies them a little bit. But then we have to back that up with adding more information and giving them a call to action. Very similar to our ad creative. There is a hook, which is those first few lines of text. There's the body, which is us expanding on the idea a little bit further. And then there's the call to action, which is me at the bottom saying, if you want to learn more, click learn more below, and you'll go to the next page where you can opt in for our free training. So you'll notice that this is number 5 in the order of importance because, like I said before, a lot of people sometimes don't even read the full primary text because a lot of people, honestly, are kind of lazy. And so you don't want to spend all your time right here making the best line of primary text possible because the majority of people, quite frankly, aren't even going to click on it in the first place. So make sure you're spending your energy appropriately, but don't be afraid to split test different variations of the primary text because there are people that read the entire thing. And a lot of times those people end up being the ones that actually book the calls. The 6th way to increase your unique outbound link click-through rate is going to be the call to action, which is this example here is learn more. Inside of Facebook ads specifically, there's a few different variations of this. There's book a call. I think there is a go to website. They're all like kind of standardized inside of Facebook. So it's not crazy important. I've never seen like a 10 or 20% increase off of my unique outbound link click-through rate by changing that. But it is worth mentioning because if you really were to break this down like a scientist, you want to take apart every different section and test it separately because all these like 1, 3, 5, 10% increases can compound together to have huge double, triple, quadruple increases the number of leads, calls, and clients you're getting for your business. And if you're running ads on different platforms like YouTube, for example, you actually can customize what that call to action button says. And so you can test there something a little bit different. Like for me, I might try something like copy this system or get this system would be my call to action instead of just learn more. Number 7 is going to be the ad description. And that's that line below the headline. So my example here says, if you're a coach, consultant, or agency owner, this could be the key to predictable, sustainable month-over-month growth. So this is the seventh most important thing to optimize, because in reality, a lot of people are barely even reading this, or if they are, I don't think it's making too much of a difference for their decision to actually click learn more or to click the button to hop off the advertising platform or not. What I will say, and this is very important, in my experience, what you can use this for is a great way to trigger the algorithm to tell it who you are trying to target. So for us, some of our best advertising audiences are very broad, meaning we're not trying to say, they have to like advertising agencies and yachts and Ravi Abuvala, and they have to be Australian and have blonde hair, right? We're just saying, hey, they just need to be in the United States. And then we're putting words like coach, consultant, agency owner, predictable, sustainable month-over-month growth in the ad and in the description, because Facebook reads these and then they want you to succeed. So then they're likely going to show this ad to those people. That's why I say if you're a coach, consultant, or agency owner. So I actually use the description as a little bit of like a hack to tell Facebook or trigger Facebook saying these are who the people that I like to go after. And I also like to use it as a little bit of a qualifier for people that are looking at this ad when I am running a broader audience, saying, hey, if you're not one of these people, this ad really isn't for you, but I'm not wasting space or any more important real estate by doing it somewhere else. And finally, step number 8, the 8th way that you can increase your unique outbound link click-through rate to get more leads, get more calls, get more clients, and grow your business has nothing to do with the ad creative, and instead it is your ad audience or your ad targeting. If you've tried 1 through 7 and you can't seem, no matter what you're doing, to get a 1 to 3% unique outbound link click-through rate, then there is a good chance that even if you had the best ad in the world, that you're not targeting the right people. So in my example here for my ad, if I'm going after coaches and agencies, but instead I would target somebody like, real estate agents, then even if I had the absolute best ad creative, the best ad primary text, the best headline, everything in the world, because I'm showing the ad to real estate agents, there's just going to be less of those people that are going to click on that because I'm calling out coaches, consultants, agencies, and online service providers, and those audiences aren't them. So that is one area that I don't see a lot of people talking about. They'll talk about all the different things you can split test, but you need to be aware that your audience has a huge impact on whether this ad's going to have resonance, because it's not just how good your ad is, it is how relevant your ad is to the audience you're targeting in the first place. Now, before I let you go here, there's a few things you need to be aware of when you start implementing some of these tests that we talked about in this video. So the first is that you want to test one thing at a time. If you were to come in here after watching this video, go into your advertising platform and just change all of these things all at the exact same time, then we won't really know which thing was the one that's leading us to more calls and more sales for our business. So for example, I might test 8 different primary text hooks, but keep everything else the same. Then once I validated which primary text hook works best, then I might test 8 different creative intros and keep everything else the same. And I do that step by step by step by step, and you're slowly building the most perfect advertising creative that you could possibly do that's getting you every single time you launch it a 2%, a 3%, or even a 5% unique outbound link click-through rate. The second thing is that the 1 to 3% KPI is a guide. Okay, don't be so hung up on that you don't move on to watching my other videos on how or other ways you can increase your leads and your sales calls. And don't be so focused on that because you're at a 0.6 or a 0.7% unique outbound link click-through rate. Because in reality, the other thing you have to realize about your ad is that it should also be disqualifying people. So if you looked at my ad, you see multiple times in there, I'm talking about coaches, agencies, online service providers. I'm calling my avatar out multiple times. And that means that if they land on that and they don't identify as one of those things, they're going to scroll past it, and that would lower my unique outbound link click-through rate. So if I was just trying to get a 1 to 3% unique outbound link click-through rate, no matter what, then I would have everybody click on my ad, but that would skew all of our numbers down the funnel. Then I would be wondering, why is my cost per lead so high? Or why is my cost per lead so low, but my leads are not quality? Why am I getting all these sales calls, but we're not closing any of them, right? That all starts with the top of funnel messaging around who you're trying to identify and who you're trying to click on that page. I've had incredibly profitable campaigns, 5 times return on my ad spend where I had a 0.5% unique link outbound click-through rate. So don't be so married to that you kind of lose sight of the overall picture. I just wanted to give you a guiding post that you use and that we use when we're helping install all of this for our clients inside of Scaling with Systems in order to increase the leads, calls, and sales for your high ticket business. If you want to get access to this graphic and a few other goodies that we're giving away along this series, be sure to click the link in the description down below and enter in your information where you'll get immediate access. And if you haven't watched the first video, or depending on when you watch this, the other videos in this training series, I recommend that you watch it now. And until then, happy scaling.